So lately, I've been feeling something that I've never felt before. It's as if America and I are growing apart. America isn't the same as it was when I started my relationship with her, and I'm not the same either. Maybe I need to sleep on Canada's couch until I figure something out. Hi, I'm Erin. Welcome to Republic, your guide to surviving the Trump times. More and more these days, being American feels like being stuck in a relationship that's just not working anymore. Our self definition as a democratic, secular, freedom embracing melting pot is gone, rejected by the very people who are in charge of our government. Our relationships with our allies have completely upended. And the reflection of America that I see in the eyes of our allies is starting to scare me. Our allies obviously can't stand Trump. And of course, that's completely understandable. I can't either. But I think they're probably also thinking that Trump aside, America as a whole can't be trusted anymore. Because we've proven to the world that we can't keep our promises. We can't be trusted to protect our allies, to stand up to our adversaries, to commit to the treaties we've already signed, and to be reliable global citizens. They don't trust us because we, you and I, can't honestly look them in the eye and promise our country won't keep electing hostile strongmen like Donald Trump. We had a chance to prove to the world that we are who we say we are. When Biden was president, we had a chance to bring Donald Trump and MAGA to justice, and we blew it. We acted with the timidity of a people who still believe that authoritarianism could never happen here, even though it already did happen. And now that it's happening again, we've left our allies no choice but to walk away. It wasn't that long ago that democracies everywhere could count on America. We amassed an enormous amount of military power. But that was okay because our allies could more or less rely on us to be there for them. Our military power was collective with theirs. We were all shoulder to shoulder. The South Koreans were worried about North Korean nuclear technology, but they knew that ours was far superior to North Korea's, and that we would always, obviously, defend their freedom. And then we elected the guy who fell in love with Kim Jong-un and saluted a North Korean general. What a colossal betrayal of our friends. So now here we are. We are basically the international equivalent of that crab with a knife or a toddler with a loaded pistol. We're dangerous, uninhibited, erratic, and deadly. And we're cozying up to dictatorships because our president is trying to fashion us into one. Here's the metaphor that made this click for me. You know those movies where there'll be a group of people in a bank that are taken hostage by armed robbers, and then there's some brave person who volunteers to be the only hostage? They're like, you don't have to keep all these people here, just keep me, and you can let all these people go. You know those scenes in movies? I'm starting to feel like you and I are in that position. We're the hostages. We're powerless to change the fact that we're under the control of the armed lunatics. And there's so little we can do about it. But we can at least argue for the rest of the hostages, our allies, to be set free. I mean, I love our allies. And right now, America has put them in a horrible position. They must feel like they have to, on some level, appease our government, not only because of our massive military, but because they know that in a couple of years, it's entirely possible we might switch back to being their true friends. That instability, coupled with all of our military power, that must make our allies nuts. And right now, I feel like the most noble thing for us to do is to tell our allies it's okay to stand up to the American government, that we understand the position they're in, and that we won't hold it against them later if they walk away from us now. It's such an unfamiliar feeling, but I get a secret joy out of hearing that Canada is boycotting our goods, or that Mexico is suing us for human rights violations. Right now, I feel far more allegiance to our neighbors than I do to our own government. Does that make me disloyal to reject the country where I'm from? This country that embraces all of the authoritarians of the world? I mean, I look at us now and I don't even recognize this country. Where should our loyalties lie when America is un-American? Am I alone in this? I've never felt this way before Trump. There have definitely been terrible and embarrassing presidents before, but we've never had one that felt like an enemy inside of our own gates. For all of his flaws, George W. Bush never made me question whether he saw the UK as an ally or Russia as an adversary. Before Donald Trump, our collective understanding of who our friends and enemies were was preloaded into America's standard operating system. If you're a fellow U.S. citizen, I'm curious to hear whether this resonates with you. And if you're watching this from another country, so sorry that we have been taken hostage. All I can tell you is that many of us are working to save our democracy, but we are really struggling. That reputation America has always had, one of a rich and powerful nation, that has never transferred to the American people. Our corporations and our oligarchs are rich and powerful. The rest of us are stuck here paying the bills for the bombs, unable to even afford our health care. Now, I haven't lost hope that we will emerge from this in time, but I can't blame other countries for losing patience with us and for losing faith that we won't keep electing hostile leaders. Because let's face it, a lot of our fellow citizens have such a cult-like devotion to Donald Trump that they're going to continue to prop up whatever form MAGA takes after he's gone. The process of deprogramming MAGA is ongoing, but it's happening too slowly for us to be considered a reliable ally in the near term. So for now, our dear allies, it's okay to leave us here in the bank. We love you enough to want you to save yourselves. So does anyone else feel like they're growing apart from America? I genuinely want to know where you land. Tell me in the comments. And if this resonated with you, hit subscribe so you don't miss the next one. Thanks so much for being here, and I'll see you next time.